That kissing you heard, that can only mean one thing. It's Friday at 4:20. I'm Mike Neighbors, your host for the next 40 minutes as we bring in some great local comics to entertain you and have a little fun playing our Friday at 4:20 game. Let's introduce the panel right away and get into this thing. Of course, over on my right, your left, it is the one and only Patrick Avellino.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno, Patrick. Buongiorno. Beside him, as usual, vacillating between microphones because he can't sit still, it's Manolo Santanos.
Tikanis, kala.
Kala.
Aristo, paracolo.
Yeah, give me a pina colada, please. Pina colada.
Telo nero.
You speak English, pina colada. And that's me on vacation. Yeah. Hey, pina colada, pina colada. You speak English? And joining us as a special guest comic, and he's been here before. We are thrilled to have him back in the house. It's Mayce Galoni.
Hello.
Hello, Mayce.
That is the one language that I know.
That was about as Caucasian a hello as I've ever heard. Mayce, it is great to have you back with us. I think the last time you were with us, we talked a little bit about the fact that you were the first and only winner of So You Think You're Funny 820's attempt at finding a great local comic, and you won. We were planning to make that an annual event, but we had no budget. So you go out the champion, my friend.
Oh, good. I could tell that there was no budget because the prize money was $8.20. That was the big check.
Well, we thought that was funny.
It was funny.
And it wasn't a lot of budget. So you can imagine my horror when we tried to do it the next year and they said, no, we can't really afford the $8.20 prize money. Mayce, since that time, you've not only toured the country doing stand-up, you've had a great time doing that, but now you're also working on This Hour Has 22 Minutes.
Yeah.
Doing a little writing in the writing room there?
Yeah.
How is it?
It's awesome. It's been so fun. And it's out in Halifax. But yeah, I mean, I get to be there with my girlfriend, Sophie Buttle. She's also a writer. And
she was on once with us as well.
Yeah.
And you guys are out there for periods of like months at a time, helping write the show.
Yeah. One of the other writers, Heidi, calls it now I'm forgetting the pipeline of Canadian comedy because you go out for 6 months and just pump Tim Hortons jokes into the air and then
you get to come home.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you took a little bit of your family time here in Hamilton out to spend with us. That is awesome.
Well, this is family time. Manolis is my dad.
Well, most people didn't know that.
He's also done skit. You're also on air too. You've done skits on the show, right?
Yeah, only 2, and they're both weird sexual scenes with Kathy Jones. Both of them involve some weird dynamic because I'm not a part of the cast or anything. It's just if they needed. The first one was they needed a 14-year-old, and they're like, he could pull that off. And it was about.
It's true.
Yeah, and then the last one was also just. I think they needed someone to be pretty much naked, and I think they thought that my body would look funny on camera, and they weren't wrong.
And bingo!
Yeah.
Well, we expect to see a lot more of you in the future then. Just put his naked body up. It'll be great. Mayce Galoni is our special guest comic as we play this little game. For those of you who haven't heard it before, I have 12 envelopes in front of me, official Bell Media envelopes. That makes them official because it says Bell Media on them. And they have topics in them, and those topics the comics do not know, and they are going to play Plinko, and we'll decide the topic according to how the Plinko puck falls. And first one up at the Plinko board is going to be Mayce Galoni. So take a puck. We got one over here. You got a puck for him?
What? How?
You just drop it in the top, and it'll bounce all over the board. And
just let go, buddy.
Yeah, you won't know where it lands.
That's if we repeat a number.
This is
so we're explaining the game to him. It's okay. We'll be with it in any second now.
Just let go.
Okay, there you go. Whoa! It's all over the place.
One.
Mayce got number 1. Were you aiming for number 1, Mayce?
No, but now that it happened, my OCD wants us to do it in perfect order.
Well, that's
anything
perfect.
else, and I leave.
Well, we'll certainly try that. Mayce Galoni, your first topic on this edition of Friday at 4:20: advice for teachers who have a student like you.
Oh,
were you good in school, Mayce?
I did pretty well, I think.
Okay.
But my parents never made me do homework.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Those are wonderful parents.
Yeah, they preferred it.
So
but,
Manolis really was your dad.
yeah, I was teaching him how to read.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think that there were a couple teachers that really tried to make me get on track, but I wasn't so far off track. But there was one time where there was this one teacher that tried really hard. She'd always be very stern, and it would always make me laugh in class. And then she thought that she would call in my mom.
Okay.
And so she would threaten that, and then she called in my mom one day, and we had a meeting, and we were sitting there, and she was talking. She was very stern, and it was kind of making me laugh, but I was trying to hold it in, like that, like church
right,
laughter.
to be serious.
And then I look over, and my mom was doing the exact same thing as I was, and then that made me burst out laughing, which made my mom burst out laughing. So then we just both laughed
that's it.
in this teacher's
The
face.
Galonis are out of control.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
I think the advice would be don't try.
Don't try. Don't read the student.
Yeah.
Yes, being stern with somebody who's sort of about to burst into laughter, that you're going down the wrong road there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Manolis, obviously, I had you in mind when I came up with that topic. Looking back, and you struggled in school. We've detailed some of that on the radio before. What would be your advice if a teacher, had a student like you?
Just give up. there's listen, it's not going to work.
You're not gonna? Was there a way? Do you think there was a way somebody could have corralled some of that energy and turned it into good instead of evil?
I think there's probably better teachers now, but back when I was a kid, there was I don't think people really knew how to teach well. And I like my kindergarten teacher, I was during story time, I was hitting a book with my finger. I think I might have told this story before, or maybe it's a Mayce. And out of nowhere, because I was bored. I was always bored, and all of a sudden I feel something, and she's doing it to my face. It's it's harder. I'm hitting the book, and and then all of a sudden it's on my face, and I look at her in shock. I'm in kindergarten, and she goes, "How do you think the book feels? How do you think the book feels?" I'm like, I didn't know books felt. And that's why I'm like, that's the day I was like, you know what, reading's not for me.
That was the day it all went off the cliff. So your advice is just give up. Yeah. Patrick Coppolino, now you were actually a pretty good student. Were you a class clown, or did you keep to yourself pretty much?
Like a behind the curtains one.
Oh, okay. You
I
prompt somebody else to do something?
Yeah, or I'd do things that I would not get caught for.
Okay, a devious class
But I was
clown.
also definitely an instigator. I could get people to do things.
Right.
But no, as a student, I was actually a really good student.
Okay, so you didn't need...
Teachers used to tell my parents they wished the whole class was Patrick's.
Wow, so they really didn't know.
Believe that or not.
Really didn't know what you were up to.
I was an excellent student.
I was an excellent student behind the scenes with Patrick Coppolino. That's where the evil lurked. Excellent. Well, that's. I don't think any of that advice really going to help any of the teachers. That's too bad. We tried at least. Let's get another topic going here. Manolis is going to Plinko for us, and it's bouncing all over the board.
Number 8. Sorry.
At least it's last.
Yeah.
Go inwards.
Yeah.
Oh, we're good. So Mace's OCD still okay?
Yeah.
All
it's
right.
okay.
So we're going up from either side of the board. Excellent. Manolis, this question, actually, I had you in mind when I came up with this one as well.
Okay.
When did you peak, or have you peaked yet, as a human being? As a human being, was there a moment when you look back and you go, that was probably about as good as it's going to get, or do you still think that's to come, Manolis?
I think I peaked in once I realized that I had to wait a half an hour to an hour to have sex again. That's when I peaked. That's what I was like. Those are the
you remember the times when you didn't have to wait?
Yeah, I remember the times where I just hey, I'm just gonna wash it for a second. And I'll be back and we're ready to go again.
Yeah.
And now
so that was it.
Now I have to bring a bottle of Gatorade with me to
replenish the fluids.
Yeah, exactly. It's that's. So that's
all right. Well, so as much as that was, I was thinking of you when I came up with the topic. That was not the answer I was thinking of.
But, are you talking about comedy?
I'm talking about just anything, just in life.
What?
I would suggest for you I think there's YouTube evidence of when you peaked, which is the air bands.
Oh, I used the king of the air bands in high school.
That was it.
To be clear, were you going to the high school? At
The actual video of me in an airband, it was this high school that I wasn't even going to. So the legend of me doing airbands from my old high school proceeded with me to like this job. I had worked at Churchill Rec Center as a lifeguard.
Right.
And I became friends with these dudes that were in grade whatever, and from swimming in gym class while I was guarding, they're like, "Hey, we heard you used to do air bands, man. We're gonna do one. Could you be our singer?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure,
Yeah, absolutely."
Which I didn't realize was a horrible idea. It went great, but it's like in retrospect, it was stupid.
Because you came out on stage and people at the school were like, "Who's that dude?
Why is that adult?
Who's the janitor?
Yeah,
Why's the janitor?"
I got long hair like Spicoli. I'm like 21.
Oh, doing an airband contest in high
doing a
school.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh yeah.
How would we find that YouTube video? Because I think someone needs to look at that.
It is on YouTube. Just type in Manolo Santanos airband. I'm sure it'll come up.
Sure it'll come up.
I'm doing a Give It Away song.
But you destroyed. Like, they loved you.
They loved that. Well, that thing, I was a lifeguard. I didn't realize till that moment that all the girls, and it was just very inappropriate to talk about in the way they had crushes on me. But I didn't know.
Because
I was just
you
like,
were the older lifeguard, the cool
like,
dude at the
yeah,
pool.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
looked like I looked like Spicoli if he didn't make it, you know, like. And then I was just doing like I get on stage and all of a sudden like there's like 500
You get
girls,
like a cheering
freaking out. I'm like,
It's our lifeguard.
he's so dreamy. I'm like, what? What's going on?
Oh, and that was after you'd peaked.
That's when that's when I peaked, right?
Okay.
Comedy, I don't know. I'll figure that out.
You'll figure out when the comedy peak's coming. What about you, Patrick? Looking back, you think your best is still in front of you, or have you already peaked?
I'm still trying to figure out who Spicoli is. I like how he used that reference twice as the reason the girls liked him.
Fast Times at Ridge Mountain High, baby.
Oh, okay.
Sean Penn.
Oh,
you never saw that movie?
No.
Oh, you have to see Fast Times at Ridge. It was really
well
worth seeing. Have you seen it?
Either.
I haven't seen it. I only know the reference from Manolis referring to himself previously as
Okay,
Spicoli.
both of you, that's your homework now.
Okay,
you have got to
watch
see
it together.
Fast Times is a very, very funny movie.
Okay.
Anyway, so aside from Spicoli, what do you think?
I think I think there's possibly more good to come.
Okay,
but,
good.
But
with it,
from birth to this point, at 29 years old, I think I peaked around 24, 25.
20, that was it.
Because I evolved out of like being a nerdy kid to like I was actually kind of cool around that age,
Right.
And I was like popular and people liked me. But now at 29, like I have enemies. I don't feel safe, and I think I've ruined a lot of things in my life.
You know what's interesting, and I don't know if that's where the enemies part comes from, but you do a lot of work with comics in the city and booking shows and stuff like that, and that. I'm sure that's created problems for you because there are people who are like, you didn't treat me fair.
Yeah,
or like,
it used to be the cool thing.
Yeah.
Now, that is.
Yeah, it just becomes nothing but a
Most
nightmare,
comics
right?
don't like me anymore.
No, nobody except the ones in this room.
Yeah,
everybody loves you here, buddy. What about you, Mayce? Nothing but good things in front of you, right? You haven't peaked yet.
I don't. I really don't know. I think I think a deep fear is that I peaked before when I was still doing magic. I'm worried that was my peak.
Because you started as a magician.
Yeah, and it was going pretty good. I think like it was when I was 14, I was working at Filthy McNasty's doing magic on Friday and Saturday nights.
That's amazing.
Well. And yeah, I mean, nobody liked it. It's a sports bar. Nobody wanted to see magic. But one time there was like this group of like high school girls that were maybe a little older than me, and they wrote all their names and numbers on a napkin at the end of the night.
You could pick one?
Yeah. And so I went home and I didn't know what to do. Couldn't talk to girls. My dad was like,
he called them.
You just gotta make it disappear with them. That's all.
Well, this was what my dad recommended because he was like new to having a cell phone. He's like, just put them all in one group message.
No!
Like, hey, it was great meeting you. Like looking forward to talking as if it was to one, but they were all still hanging out.
Yeah.
So I sent it out, and then I got like a nice reply from two of them, and then very quickly all of them were like, wait, did you send this to all of us? They were so mad. So I think I immediately peaked, and then
There's always a danger there listening to parents when new technology is being adapted because I've given my daughter some horrible advice with how to use cell phones and the internet. That is just back to Filthy McNasty's. My Filthy McNasty story. There was a thing they used to do a thing where. Because there's no Filthy McNasty's anymore.
No, they went out of business.
So, but they used to do a thing where somebody would come out and say, if somebody wants to stand on a table and sing "Oh Canada," we'll give you your dinner for free. So I'm always up for a challenge, and free dinner sounded like a great idea. So I'm like, whoa! And I jump. I'm already on the table. He hasn't even said yes to me. Other people got their hands up. I'm on the table ready to start singing. So he says, go ahead. So I start singing the Canadian National Anthem. The only thing is, I didn't take into account, I don't know all the words. I think you always think you know, right? But when you're doing it solo, baby, and I'm in the middle, and now I'm standing in front of Filthy McNasty going, I'm like na-na-na-ing the National Anthem. When I finished, he gave me a free meal. But what he said was, what you don't know is in Filthy McNasty's, the words to the National Anthem were written around the interior of the building. And I was like, oh, yeah, after you tell me that.
Do you think that's why they went out of business? Because everyone was willing to do it?
Everybody was willing to sing for their supper.
And they gave it away even if you couldn't do it?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think they went out of business because they made decisions like hiring me as a magician.
Hiring a magician. Patrick, you're up with the Plinko board, my friend. Go ahead and drop a puck. Filthy McNasty. I think Donovan Bailey was one of the investors in Filthy McNasty's. Actually,
I don't know
the runner.
that
Donovan
is.
Bailey, the sprinter for Canada, won a gold medal.
No.
Okay. Wow. Manolis, how old are you and I in this room?
I know. I'm 40. I'm 48.
Oh,
I'm older than you. Right?
No, dude. No, I'm the old man on the set. What'd you get there, buddy?
7.
Number seven. Here we go. A brand new topic on Friday at 4:20. Our special guest, Mayce Galoni, Patrick Avellino, Manolis Antanos. Patrick, your topic. Physically most important feature for a partner. What is the physically most important feature? So you're looking a gal up and down. What's the most important feature? Keep it clean. What's the first thing that you go to, man?
Their eyes.
You could You're a liar. You can say breasts.
I don't know.
You can say butt.
Yeah, I appreciate a nice bum.
Yeah, a nice bum.
Yeah.
You're a bum guy?
Yeah.
Wow, that sounded bad.
I'm a bum guy. I know, and I'm not the Greek one. I don't know. I like boobs too.
Okay. So there's not one in particular? You're not drawn to one body part in particular? Maybe the eyes?
No, it's a ratio thing.
Okay. It's got to be a nice ratio.
Yeah.
You don't want one. Hey, Manolis is already sidling up to the microphone.
I'm sorry I had to take my pants off for this one.
Don't do it.
I'm just gonna say I like boobs.
Yeah, you're a boob guy. We knew that. Yeah.
But I prefer, believe it or not, I was having this conversation today with someone, with a girl, believe it or not, and I like the bikini or or a bra. I like boobs better covered. I think it's hotter. I think I like the mystery. The
I thought
tease.
you were going to go with the tan line when they've got a tan after wearing a bikini and then they take the bikini off. It's like
that's nice too. But I like anything. I like anything. But
do you like motorboating?
Yes, I do. I just can't believe you asked me that. But yes,
I could say motorboating on air. I mean, people have been motorboating before.
It's weird where with girls can wear something skimpy. It looks that looks so hot. But guys, if I wear a Speedo, somebody's
going to call the police.
Yeah, put some pants on, dude.
Mayce Galoni, what feature attracts you most in the opposite sex?
Well, there's not much to say for
Poor
this
guy.
one.
Yeah. What do you?
I also
you could take the high road and go
Manolis's.
eyes.
Yeah, but I don't want to be a liar.
Oh, liar!
I mean,
He's damaged.
what? I'm damaged.
You know it. Your mom. When you were
oh yeah, he was breastfed too long.
Oh,
I was, but I don't know how that relates to this.
Well, who knows?
I don't. My favorite physical feature is not lactating.
Well, I'm guessing Manolis wasn't breastfed long enough. I think that's his problem.
Oh, I have a favorite physical feature.
Okay.
If the girl does not look like my mom.
Oh, there you go. Then it doesn't look like lunchtime.
Yeah.
All right, that's fantastic. Let's get to a topic that's not going to make everybody awkward and uncomfortable. But Mayce, yes, Mayce is. Here we go. Let the OCD kick in, buddy. Oh, it's all over the place. Oh no.
Number 2.
Oh, he's going in order.
Yeah,
Mayce, if nobody else
1,
will,
8, 7,
Mayce
2.
will.
Yeah, this is so far perfect.
This is a touchy topic only because we potentially could offend somebody who has this name. But at the same time, when people are naming their babies, okay, one of the funny things and I don't know, Patrick, you have a child.
Yeah.
You two are childless. Manolis isn't sure, but he hasn't been part of naming a child. But when you go through names for a baby, what ends up happening is there might be a name that's like Owen. And then you go, you knew an Owen. There was an Owen in your life who was like you hated.
Yeah.
And so that name is now tainted forever. So what I'm asking you is a name you either really, really like that you would consider for a child, or a name that you really, really don't like. And if you could give us one of each, that'd be awesome.
Oh, a name that I like.
So
I think my little brother is named William. And I think I've never met like a bad William.
Oh, you love William? See,
I
that's
think
exactly
William's
what I mean.
A great name.
You've just run into nothing but good Williams.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Whereas Luke's,
oh,
never met a good Luke.
Never met a good Luke. Although the one who wrote in the Bible probably was a decent Luke, but
no, not even him.
Not even him. No, he was trouble as well.
I imagine.
All right, so you're down on Luke.
Yeah.
And we understand that anyone listening named Luke's probably an awesome person, but at the same time,
probably not.
Probably. Mayce is doubling down. We have really perplexed my friend Manolis here. Patrick, what about you? Name you really like, a name you would, you cherish, you adore, you would use for a child, and a name that you think would be horrible.
Well, I named my daughter Esther for a few reasons. I like it. It's different, but also mainly because I thought she'd go straight from like being a cute kid to a really old lady really fast.
Because you're a bit of an old soul.
Skip
so
the whole... in between parts.
Esther suddenly become a senior citizen. Yeah. That'd be great. So Esther, beautiful name.
Like that one.
What's a name you? As soon as somebody comes up and go, "Oh, my name," and you go,
Chad.
You don't meet a lot of
Yeah.
Chads.
No.
There aren't a lot of Chads.
Yeah, I can't imagine
I
what
don't-
would compel someone
I
to
can't-
name their kid Chad.
Chad.
Like they have like a Monster Energy onesie.
Yeah.
Manolis, you want to? He's been tossing and turning on this one.
Gus is a weird name too, but
Gus.
I like
Yeah,
Gus
I like
too.
Gus
but
too.
like Gus sounds like he'd be a lot of fun. That's not my name that I picked.
Okay. Yeah, I work when I do the stadium announcing for the Ticat games. My spotter, there's a guy who tells me, sort of keeps track of what's going on the field. His name is Gary, but he goes by Gus.
But it's so names like Gus or Frank, it's like they instantly become characters. That's just fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you want to go, hey Gus,
Yeah.
get over here. You're not that mad, but you just.
Or if
feel
you
like
were
you're-
telling a story on stage and you needed a character name, you would, like right away.
Frank will take care of this.
Frank will do it.
Yeah, like this
Yeah.
stuff like that. Sally, I always say Sally in bits, right?
You use Sally a lot?
Like if I talk about a girl, it's like, oh my God, Sally. Like
Oh,
I don't know why
the
Sally.
name Sally comes up.
Sally's who named their kid Sally? I love it though. That's why.
So what name you love?
I've always wanted to call a kid Dude, but
Of course. That'd be easy to remember for you.
so and then a name that drives me something associated with someone who has put a lot of stress and pain in my life. I would say I wouldn't call him Patrick.
Patrick, I'm down on Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick is like, I'm
Patrick.
I'm one of his enemies that he's talking about earlier.
That's right. Interesting growing up with the name Manolis. Were you in favor of it? Were you against it? I mean, was there a time when you were like, why did they name me Manolis? Or did you always love that because it's a very unique name?
I do like it once I became a comedian because everybody's like, oh, that's a great stage name.
Right.
I did like that, but through my whole life, it's been more of a headache.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm sure. We all go through those things with our names.
What
and-
is that? What's your name?
What? What does that mean? What?
His name is Manoli Zontanos, and his brother's name is Peter.
My mom's name is Margaret. My dad's name is George.
Margaret, George, Peter, and Manolis.
Yeah, Manolis.
Is it pronounced Manolis or is
It's
it
pronounced. Apparently, when you're like a kid, for some reason they say Manulaki, and then when you're like as an adult, Manulaki. It's a very not manly. And then Minoli. Apparently, I think is what they say it in Greek.
That's like a sweet version. Yeah.
But when you spell the Greek letters into English,
It becomes Manolis.
It becomes Manolis.
Okay. Thank goodness it wasn't just Manulaki your whole life, because that would have been that would have been worse than Manolis.
Yeah.
Manulaki Zantanos. I like that.
Greeks say that my name was Jesus' name. For some reason.
Oh, really? That's the Greek version of Jesus, or
apparently his name was originally. I don't know how.
Manolis?
His Manolis apparently was like Jesus before Jesus became Jesus somehow.
What's interesting?
I don't know.
It's interesting. It starts with the word.
You think I'm making this up?
It starts with the word man, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, son of God, man, whatever.
Yeah.
Quickly, just because Manolis kind of brought it up. A name that you go to on stage when you're doing comedy bits.
Oh yeah.
What's your go-to character name?
If I'm referring to like a wife of someone, it's always like Diane or Deborah for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Do you have a guy name that you use on stage, or my buddy?
I don't think
really,
so. Like
no?
maybe like Dave or something. I think
all the Ds.
I don't think I have a go-to.
You
I
used.
don't know why.
You never use Luke. You never use Luke. Patrick, do you have is there a name you use?
I don't think I have bits that
involve
requires me to do that.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting because quite often it'd be you tell a story about something that happened to a friend, or you're into a story and that friend, and you don't want to use the friend's name, so you just come up with a, Manolis. You just say Manolis. I just use Manolis as my stand-in.
Sometimes I don't even feel like I'm real. My name's into my sense like Manolis. Like what I think about it sometimes, like what the hell is a Manolis? How am I Manolis?
It sounds a lot like cannoli, which I love. Manolis, it's your turn. Manulaki, throw that puck in. He's good. You're going to be Manulaki for me forever now, buddy. Number 9.
Mayce is really uncomfortable now.
Oh, wow. The OCD has taken over.
No, I'm fine.
All right. This is a comedy question for our 3 comedians in the room. Name one comedian you wish you'd seen perform. Now, it could be somebody you could still see perform. They don't necessarily have to be dead, but who's the one comedian that you want to see or wish you had been able to see live?
I would love to see Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. So you could still see him. He might still do stand-up one day.
Maybe, one day.
Well, maybe.
Didn't he recently do like a set? I feel like a year or two ago, he like did a set at the Comedy Store and nobody could film it or anything like that.
I don't know.
That'd be cool. Because there's a difference, right? I mean, you can watch all the YouTube videos and all that stuff. It's different being in the room. Being in the room, hearing the reaction, watching them, the energy they bring, all those kinds of things. Mm-hmm. Eddie Murphy's yours. Patrick.
Probably Robin Williams would have been really cool to see live.
Yeah.
Especially in a smaller setting. Like my uncle said he saw him at the Comedy Store years and years ago.
Oh.
And he was just reaching into the audience for props and stuff, and he was just riffing for like awesome. 2 hours.
Wow.
Incredible watching that happen live on stage.
Yeah.
Mace?
George Carlin, probably. Bill Hicks, one of those. But I think probably George Carlin.
Better shot at seeing Bill Hicks. Just saying, you can still see Bill.
No, he's dead too.
Dead. Bill Hicks is dead?
Yeah, I was.
For a while.
I thought
Oh no, I'm so
sorry. He
sorry.
just recorded a special. Oh, damn it. All right. Well, I guess no chance of seeing either one of them. Bill Hicks. I knew George Carlin was dead.
I love you so much
now, George Carlin, I thought later on it wasn't as good. It was, some of those later specials and stuff, I thought, like early George Carlin was just so ingenious and brilliant.
I think
any of it.
Yeah, I liked all of it. I mean, I think the early stuff I didn't like when he was still like doing he would do like characters and impressions.
Oh, okay,
sort of stuff. Like it was just
which is the Carlin I grew up on. So that's the Carlin that when the hippy dippy weatherman and that's when that blew up, man. It was so huge, and at that time you didn't see comedians anywhere, and a comedy album was a rare thing for it to get any kind of to really gain any kind of acceptance, and that thing was massive, and I was too young to even buy it.
I grew up with Thomas the Tank Engine, the train conductor George Carlin.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing I knew him
When he
from.
took over for Ringo Starr. Yes, how the mighty have fallen sometimes. All right, whose turn is it to Plinko?
Did I just? No, your turn.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, my goodness. It is Friday at 4:20. Mayce Galoni, our special guests. Patrick Avellino, Manolo Santanos.
12.
Just found out that Bill Hicks died. I'm not sure I can go on with
Wait
the
till
show.
you find out Michael Jackson's dead.
What? Did you say 5?
12.
You said 12. 5 or 12?
12.
12. You want 12? Okay. There you go. All right. And here we go. Are you a list maker? Do you make lists? Do you see any point to making lists?
Well, now that I'm,
Yeah?
now that I'm old. Well, yeah, we're comedians. That's all we do is make set lists. Lineups.
Set list, yeah.
But to-do lists?
Do you do lists of things you want to get done, things,
I have to now.
Do
or else
ya?
I won't get. Yeah, I forget things too often. So.
And when you make a list, do you stick to the list, or is it just kind of I wrote a bunch of things down, I got 3 of them done, whatever, throw the list away?
No, I stick to it.
You stick to it?
Yeah.
Good. Yes. You know what? That's not easy to do. Manolis, there's no point. There's no way you're a list maker.
I don't make lists, but I've written words on paper.
He's gone full Neanderthal now.
And
Paper, good words.
Trying to see if it would just come and make certain things will come into my life.
Are you talking about vision boards?
Oh,
Well, yeah, vision board, but
yeah.
not like an actual board. I just literally tape one word or one thing and just.
But that's worked for you before.
What?
That's worked for you.
It worked. It worked for me one time.
Yes.
I did it once and it worked.
What was the thing that you wrote?
I wrote the number.
There was a number.
I put an amount on the paper.
Yeah.
How much I wanted in the future, just
Money?
money
Why
wise.
is-
I'm thinking this would help me out. This is good.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't exorbitant. He didn't say 40 million
Right.
because it worked.
But yeah, but it wasn't like $10.
What was it?
That was a quite a bit, a lot
And
to
then
me.
what happened?
And then my dad saw it and he thought it was he's like, what is this? I'm like, it's hard to explain, Dad. It's like I'm just trying to put it out in the future, thinking like I want this.
Put it
money.
out in the universe. This is how much money I
and
want.
then my dad's like, "What? You owed someone money?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I don't owe anybody money."
Dad doesn't understand the
He
vision
goes,
board.
"What is this? A check? Is this a check from the bank?" I'm Dad. It's like numbers on a piece of paper. It's a white piece of paper. How do you think this is a check? And then I go fine. And I rip it up and I throw it in the garbage. And I'm like, I can't even have a vision board. Like I'm going crazy. Like this is blowing my mind. Like this is a problem with like your European old Greek man that's like in his late 80s at the time. It's like it blows. Why would you just write numbers on a piece of paper and put it on a wall? I don't know, Dad. I saw it on a video and it worked. And then
it worked.
and I forgot about it, and then I realized I had that much money.
Just like through a series of events, and suddenly you're going, I have as much money as I had written down.
I forgot about. My friend reminded me about. Did you? Like I told him how much money I had saved now, and he's like, "Isn't that what you wrote on that piece of paper you told me?" I'm like, "Holy cow, you're right."
Yeah.
Just like in the movies when you see commercials about these things, you're like, "Oh yeah," like it actually literally happened.
It worked.
Like
It was
that.
the exact amount.
It was like it was the exact amount.
Now you've written other things down since then that have not happened yet.
Yes.
But what haven't you done with those things? You haven't ripped them up.
Yeah, I gotta get my dad to see it.
Yeah, get Dad all over it. I forget what the question was.
It was about lists.
Lists. Mayce Galoni, do you make lists? Are you a list guy?
No, but I put lists on my vision board, so maybe in the
One
future.
day.
Yeah.
Entire lists.
Yeah,
Lists
no,
of things.
I do. I write a ton of lists, but I don't usually do them. But it's just kind of boring stuff.
Like just things you got. I got to. Oh, I got to remember. I got to do this. I got to
Yeah.
do this. Got to do this. So you do. So you are a list maker.
Yeah, and then I also like to list like new jokes that I'm working on, like
Sure.
our ideas that
Sure.
I have.
I mean, you all, and you're right off the top. You guys all make lists of jokes, bits. When and what? How do you keep track of? That's always the hard part, right? Is keeping track. I mean, because you're constantly creating and keeping track of the good ones and the ones you should have let go of or whatever. How do you keep track of them? I know Manolis has a book.
These are all lists.
Oh, look at those. Manolis is
Most of
bringing
us
out
have
his.
books or like notes on our phones. Yeah, Manolis has random papers, napkins, legal pads.
So
Should we read? Can we read these? Yeah.
So
yeah,
these.
look at this list. These are lists.
What?
Pool, baby on board, make a baby. Oh, I'm not even. It's spelt wrong, but I can't say it on the radio.
You didn't even spell the curse word wrong. Those lists is that your bits from?
Yeah.
Now these bits you're working on, or is that the stand-up list you did on a recent show?
It's a little bit of everything. Look, new bits, old bits, and like little notes of trying to remember how a bit goes.
This list says, I think. Okay, I'm just gonna read what's written. I am tired. Lie down. I want to give up. I'm done.
Sounds like a suicide letter.
Wow, yeah. You put that in an Instagram post, the police are coming to your house, buddy.
and then right after that, fist homies guy.
Now, does that all make sense to you right now, Manolis?
Yeah, I think that might be. I fought a homeless guy once, and
Fist homies guy, sure.
Like fist fought homeless
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and then tired is like that word was tired, and it was I have a bit about wanting to give up and becoming homeless.
Oh, okay. And
So
then you go. That goes right into your beating up a homeless guy bit.
Yeah, well, I didn't actually beat him up. I had to pull off a homeless guy off of another homeless guy because he was beat. I saw a homeless guy beat up another homeless guy that was in a wheelchair that had no legs, and no one was getting involved. And I was across the street. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna get involved, and I pulled off the homeless guy off the crippled homeless guy, and then I almost fought him.
I can only now. Patrick has handed me one of the lists. This is on a yellow piece of lined paper. And I can only say, first of all, worst spelling ever of Reese's Pieces I've ever seen in my life. That is, you're killing it. And going back to an earlier topic of ours, this set in a box actually starts with the crude word for big breasts. So,
Yeah.
right there's Manolis' answer
And
to.
how
Can
does
I
it
see
end?
the spelling of Reese's Pieces?
Oh my! And it ends. No, it ends even worse. No, get that list away from me.
How did I spell Reese's?
I don't know. I'm curious.
But you spell it right now. Reese's Pieces.
Honestly, this is, I don't think that bad. It is Reese's Pisces, but
Reese's Ressesses Recess.
Recess.
Recess pieces.
R-E-S-S-I-P-P-I-S-S.
Oh, this has been Spelling with Manolis, ladies and gentlemen. Mayce Galoni, our special guest comic this week, and Mayce, one more time. You want to encourage everybody to check out. No, we're done that. Oh, you're long past
sorry,
that, buddy. We're winding this show down.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. I know it went by fast, didn't it? As soon as we get telling stories, it's always so much fun. This hour is 22 minutes. Want people to watch the news here, I guess the second half of the new season coming up in January?
Yeah. We're also doing, I think we should still be doing them. This is the first year they've been doing like dailies episodes. So they're like, just on the CBC app, there's like 10-minute episodes every day.
Awesome.
During the week.
Mayce Galoni spending time in Halifax.
Yeah.
He's writing on this hour as 22 minutes.
And he has a new album.
And a new album.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? I did see that. What's the new album called?
It's called Awkwarder.
Awkwarder.
Yeah, I regret that title.
No,
but
you don't.
It's but yeah, it's if you've listened to the old one, which I hope you didn't. It's like half the same material and then half new material because the first one I didn't like, so I wanted to redo some stuff.
Okay.
But
So now it's all
done.
polished up. This is the fresh
Hopefully.
start.
Yeah.
This is Mayce Galoni 2.0. Awkwarder. That's hard to say.
Yeah.
And I can get that on iTunes.
Yes, on iTunes, or you could like stream it on Spotify or
Stream it on
Google Play or
Spotify.
whatever.
So it's Mayce Galoni, Awkwarder on iTunes. Check it out. Check out the upcoming season of This Hour is 22 Minutes. Thank you so much for dropping in, man. It's
Thank
always
you
great
so much
catching
for
up with you.
having me.
How can we follow you on social media?
Just like I have all of the things like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. It's just my name, MaYceGaloni.
Mayce Galoni on all the social medias. How about you, Manolis?
Patrick Avellino.
Pat Koppel.
Yeah, Manulaki. How do I follow Manulaki?
Manolo Santanos.
Manolo Santanos on all the social medias. Patrick Coppolino, how are we following you?
At Soapbuds.
At Soapbuds. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of Friday at 420 with our great group of local stand-up comics. Get out and support local comedy in our community. And until we get a chance to talk to you again in 7 days, have an awesome weekend.